Merry meet and welcome. Welcome to the realms of mysticism, the occult, and magic, where your possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Welcome to the Witch's Cauldron and discover the knowledge you seek. Gather round the cauldron and even stay for a spell. Brightest blessings to you. Merry meet and welcome to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today's very delayed video. Nothing like waiting till the last minute. Actually, I had some technical issues. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. My film editing software, my VPN everything was doing updates and messing with my entire world. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Anyhow, on with it. Today's video is going to be on the total lunar eclipse super blood moon in Scorpio that will be occurring either May 15th or 16th, depending on where you are located in this wonderful world we live in. Now, I need to back up just a couple of days so that we can kind of set the stage for what's going on with this super blood moon, total lunar eclipse, just magical whirlwind, okay? And on the 11th of May, there was a big shift in energy. Jupiter moved from Pisces and into Aries. And Pisces and Aries are very, very different energies. Moving into that kind of warrior energy. It's going to remain in Aries. Jupiter will remain in Aries until the 28th of October, where it will dip back into the last degrees of Pisces and then re-enter Aries on the solstice on the 21st of December. This is the Capricorn solstice. Whether you're, going to be moving into summer in the southern hemisphere then, or the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. And Jupiter usually brings along with it a lot of success and recognition. So especially if you've been working on something, trying to get something off the ground, this is the kind of energy that helps you with the push for the recognition, especially work. And you can really look for opportunities, especially for personal growth. This is a time for you to kind of be your own champion and embrace that warrior energy and not be afraid to step out and step out of your comfort zone, to look for that, beautiful energy for you to evolve as a person, and as a soul, as an entity, as a soul. You're being called to your higher self again. This is what the message has been since the Grand Conjunction back in 2020. The energies are starting to shift a little bit, where there is an awakening among more of the masses. Okay, a lot of people are waking up to what's going on, but a lot of more people are pushing back on what they consider to be control and mandates well beyond the scope of what they feel comfortable with now. But a lot of people are wanting They're really chafing, I'll call it chafing at the bit. You know, they're just really kind of chomping down, going, God, when is this going to be over? So Aries is also a sign of action. It is a kick in the ass from the universe to get up off your butt. Because you know that there's something you're probably called to do, but you've been afraid to do it. This is that kick in the ass, especially where things like divination, psychic abilities, that nature, mysticism in general is concerned. Jupiter will also cross the Aries point, or what is known as the world axis, which is 0 degrees of whatever cardinal sign involved. Okay, so the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. They will be in hard aspect to the mutable signs of Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces. So the actual lunar eclipse, which also this moon happens to be a supermoon and a blood moon. Okay, so a supermoon means that it's at one of its closest points in its orbit to Earth. Okay, and supermoons in general make emotions run very high. You can be very quick to anger. Okay, so just be very cautious of that. And remember, especially since we have Mercury retrograde that just started, your words can quickly spiral out of control. So just remember that. Your feelings tend to really kind of boil over during a full moon. This particular full moon is in Scorpio, and it will occur at 25 degrees 17 minutes of Scorpio on the 15th of May at 9:13 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time in the U.S., which would be 12:13 a.m. on the 16th on the Eastern Daylight Savings Time of the U.S., and 5:13 a.m. in the UK on the 16th. The moon on the day of the eclipse will be in Scorpio at the actual time of the eclipse, but it will be void of course very shortly after the total lunar eclipse. And it will be in Scorpio until 7:50 a.m. on the 16th, and that is Eastern Daylight Savings Time in the U.S. That would be 12:50 p.m. in the UK, and 4:50 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. But the moon will be void, of course, from 5:28 a.m. on the 16th through 7:50 a.m., and that is Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I do not suggest, especially with the energy of this particular lunar eclipse, I do not suggest that you do anything while the moon is void, of course, for this go round, because we have too much uncertain energy to, whenever you do anything void, of course, sometimes it can end up backfiring on you. That's all I'm going to say. This is also a south node eclipse, okay? And it strengthens that message of letting go of the baggage of the past. And this is at an individual and as a collective. Let go of the baggage. You cannot continue to harp on and chew on that same old piece of gristle for your entire life, because you end up just wasting precious time that you have in this vessel by chewing on a piece of gristle that you should have probably spit out a long damn time ago. The Taurus-Scorpio nodal axis continues through the summer of 2023 until July 2023. And the main themes are finances, economics, banking, and particularly Scorpio shines the light on investments, big money, and financial secrets. It's also shining a light on sexual secrets and things that may be underground that may come to light during this eclipse. This Scorpio energy is one of purging, okay? And it's connects to control and power, outside control, outside. And it's encouraging you to embrace your own power. You are the king of you, or queen of you, whichever you prefer. The North Node, being in Taurus, makes us focus on the earth, growing food, and finding a sense of safety and security that is not connected to outer wealth or the outer trappings of wealth. To be more focused on ourselves, because until you learn to love yourself and take care of yourself, you can't really love and take care of others around you. In a community or in a family, because you're neglecting yourself in the process. And that has been a very tough lesson I've had to have reinforced over the years. Whenever I need it and I get, too bogged down in the do for others and the do, the world gives me the universe gives me a kick in the damn head when I need it, basically. Now, this total lunar eclipse will last about an hour and a half, and it's going to be visible over South America, most of North America, southwestern Europe, Africa, the Indian Ocean, and Antarctica. I will try and put a picture somewhere over here that kind of shows the path, so you can get a better idea of what's going to be going on. Now, the areas that are directly in the eclipse path on the map, there's usually, when an eclipse occurs, there's usually increased focus in those areas of totality, okay? There's going to be a lot of chaos in the 3D, in the world. There's a lot now. It's going to ramp up. And the most important thing for you, especially people with abilities, for people who are magical practitioners, those who are energy workers, is to stay grounded and centered, because you putting forward that calming energy and trying to stay on an even keel helps then the universe receive that energy and can help calm the waters around you. Uranus is also aspecting the world axis during this time. Jupiter and Uranus is in a very tight semi-square. And both of these planets are linked to freedom, the future, and an expansion of consciousness. I think that with Scorpio being thrown into the mix, I think there is going to be even more, how can I say, light shown on crypto. And I think that crypto can be extremely volatile during this period of time. Uranus is also semi-square Ceres, Ceres, in Cancer. And it's on the world axis at 0 degrees of Cancer. And Uranus is in Taurus until 2026. And it's the ongoing thing of food and supply chain disruption, with Ceres being the goddess of grains and agriculture, the sign of Cancer, feeding and nurturing. There's also going to be even more focus on the ability to feed the masses. Now, Pluto will be at 28 degrees of Capricorn, and that is trine to the sun at 25 degrees of Taurus. And this encourages us to step up into our own power. That's what I was saying earlier. Stepping into your power, stepping into that higher self. Pluto is also sextile to the moon, which is the people. Jupiter sextile Mercury at 3 degrees Gemini. Think big, big ideas. And the problem is, especially with Mercury being in retrograde, our thoughts can be muddled. So it's going to be the fact of you having to kind of filter out the noise to get to the beautiful song that's being sung. Remember, though, anyone who appears like they have the answer and they are the bee's knees to fix all of humanity, be very skeptical of anyone who appears in the forefront as, kind of like a godsend or something like that. Be very, very skeptical. And because I think there's going to be a lot more revealed once the surface is scratched. Another spiritual context is that this total lunar eclipse occurs as Mars is conjunct Neptune at 23 and 24 degrees of Pisces. And that does give us very clear energy to go inward and to really focus on some kind of spiritual practice. I'm not saying being religious. I'm saying connect with the universe, connect with that energy. Now, some little fun tidbits I'm going to throw here. I also want to bring up again the fact that we are being bombarded with an unprecedented amount of coronal mass ejections, M-class and X-class solar flares than we have in like our lifetimes. And so we're going to be kind of feeling battered. And just realize that this is when these kinds of flares occur, insomnia, dizziness, migraines, stomach upset, your body is being bombarded with a lot of light that it's not, and magnetic differences that it's not accustomed to. So you can have a physical reaction to everything that's going on with coronal mass ejections and solar flares right now. And if you want more alerts and, how to follow all this, go to spaceweather.com. So there is that. Now on the 20th, the moon will come to conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. By the 24th, it will be conjunct Neptune and Mars. And so this again is you needing to take some kind of spiritual action. So, what to do for your ritual? Have the courage to do something that is outside your norm. Possibly try a new way of thinking or doing something. Put a focus on you setting that intent to bring that idea you've been struggling to bring to fruition and make it real. Because remember, this eclipse energy goes out can start a month before and run for up to 6 months, usually around three months or so, pretty heavily after it occurs. So think about something that you want to bring to fruition within the next 6 months. And even better, if it has something to do with spirituality, you embracing your higher self, you making a more conscious effort to stay grounded and centered and to stay in higher vibrational frequency, emotions of love, compassion, sympathy, empathy, rather than focusing on anger. You know, I've said this a lot. Everything we've been going through the last few years, as a collective, you have absolutely no reason to bitch about anything if all you are doing is bitching and you're not trying to contribute to being part of a solution. A solution does not include forcing your personal opinion on anyone else. What it does encourage is healthy conversation and discourse to try and understand and come to a consensus. Consensus does not mean that you agree with everything. It means that you can frickin' live with it. I think that in and of itself is a way for us to kind of embrace a higher spiritual by thinking outside of our own little box and trying to see the view from other perspectives. And how can we get closer together rather than drive wedges to make us farther apart as humanity? Big focus on spirituality, ascension, thinking outside the box, having the courage, that warrior energy to do something that you are uncomfortable with. And with that, I hope this helped. If it did, give it a thumbs up. And I hope that you all have a very blessed super blood moon total lunar eclipse in Scorpio, May 15, 16. This evening when I'm posting it. And with that, my friends, merry we did meet, merry we will part until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.